CBS News national security correspondent Charlie Daggett joins me now. Charlie, you and two of our colleagues put together the reporting on what happened March 1st in Kuwait. Tell us what we know.
Well, Major, first of all, we have to point out that this is the first serious Iranian retaliation. And why Kuwait? Kuwait's very close to Iran, within reaching distance to drones. We've talked about it a lot, reported about the drones in striking distance, and it looks like a drone strike on this base, or not base, actually, another U.S. military facility in Kuwait. There may be questions about the protection over that area, but this is the place where we've reported the first U.S. fatalities there. And at first, we heard that there were 3 fatalities, then we heard a 4th, and then a couple days later, we were starting to hear about the 5th and the 6th. Part of that meant that they had to get the 6th casualty, pardon the expression, from some of the rubble to rescue that person or retrieve that person's body from the rubble, which gives an indication of how extreme this drone strike was. Now, there were dozens of people that were injured in that as well. We're learning that many of them had to be evacuated to Landstuhl in Germany, dozens, as a matter of fact. Most of them have been treated. I've learned today, in speaking to Central Command, officials from Central Command, that they have returned to the battlefield because there was a lot of TBI, concussions, traumatic brain injuries, a lot of shrapnel wounds, not necessarily major wounds or life-threatening wounds, but it gives you an idea of the scale of that initial drone attack, the largest attack in this region against U.S. forces in Kuwait. And there were other attacks. Saudi Arabia, there's another fatality reported there. But this is the first one. It was a major one, and it has raised questions about the level of defense or what they could expect or defend it against Iranian drones.
Right, because this raises the question about general force protection, where the forces are, how well you can reinforce them, how well they can be notified to seek shelter if they need to. All those things are now at high alert.
Yes, exactly. Because to paint the picture of this region and where there is force protection, which, by the way, is the #1 priority. It's not just the attacks or projected attacks against Iran, but how Iran may retaliate. And yes, we call them HESCOs. These are the outside exterior defenses that are put in place in places like Al Udeid, et cetera. But when you're looking at swarms, and I use that word specifically, swarms of Iranian drones, missile attacks, et cetera. You're looking at the proximity and the length of time between a drone being launched or a missile being launched and the alarm systems that we've heard, you just heard from Matt, of when we can expect incoming. When you're that close to Iran and you're attacking military installations in places like Bahrain, which they have, places like Kuwait, which has really borne the brunt of most of the Iranian attacks there, there's not much time to get down and get shelter. And when you got something coming in from the top, dropping in, this isn't an attack coming from the outside of a base, but dropping in from the top of a base, that is something that the U.S. military, spoke to them today, they're constantly reassessing that threat and what they can do to protect forces in this region.
And to try to mitigate those threats. Charlie Daggett, excellent reporting. Thank you very much.